Hey everyone, it's Mr. Montgomery again. Today is our first day of starting a brand new unit. We're on Unit 11 now. It says it right up here. And we're on lesson number 1. So it's the very, very beginning. And if you guys thought it was kind of easy adding some tens together, well, guess what? You're going to do just as well on this because this is just taking away some tens. That's it. And we can use all the same stuff we've already learned. So we'll go into this the same way we did the last unit. We will learn one new way to do things at a time, and you pick the one way that works for you. Alright? Well, before we get started, make sure you're on page 453. 453, okay? If you're not on this page, pause the video, get your Robot Turtle book, open it up to page 453. Alright, so if the video is still playing, I'm going to guess that you are all good to go. Alright, so let's see what they are asking. It says, how can thinking about 4 minus 1 help you to find 40 minus 10? Use place value blocks to help you. So we can absolutely use some place value blocks if we need to. And of course we can use some a quick drawing if you don't have any place value blocks. We'll go through both ways. Don't worry about it at all. But first, let's write down these two number sentences and see how they are similar. Alright, so let's write down this first one. 4 minus 1. So I'm going to write this in the blue box right here. 4 minus 1. Okay, now let's take our other subtraction sentence and we're going to write it in the green box. We have 40 minus 10. So how are these two number sentences similar? Well, there's a 4 over here and a 4 over here. So they each have a 4. And there's a 1 over here and a 1 over here. So they each have a 1 also. So they have similar numbers. Okay, but what is the difference? What is different between these two? The only difference is the place value. So if we were going to draw out 4 minus 1, well, watch this. We can just make 4 1 circles. 2, 3, 4, and then how many do we cross out? We cross out 1. Boom. That was it. And then how many 1's circles are left? 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 left. Let's try the same thing with 40 minus 10. So how can we make 40? Are we going to use some 1 circles again? Or do we use something different? We use something different since the 4 is in the tens place. Because remember, if we were to put the number 40 in a little place value chart, watch this really quick. The tens place, the T for tens, is always first. And the ones place is always second. Alright, it's always at the very end. Okay? So that means we have to make our 10 sticks. So if we have a 4 in the tens place, we make 4 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we're taking away a whole 10, well, we can. And here's I'll show you guys like a little trick. But first, let's think about if we're taking away a 10, how many sticks do we take out? Well, we would just take out 1 10. Boom. And then that's it. Now, my little trick. You guys know I love using little tricks to help me remember stuff. So, just like we looked at the 4 in the tens place to figure out how many 10s to draw, if we look at what we're taking away, so for the number 10, right, this tells us how much we're taking away. You look at the number in the tens place. It has a 1. So that means we just take away 1 10 stick. and that's why I crossed out 1. And then how many 10s do I have left? 1, 2, and 3. And so we have 3 10s. We don't have any 1s, so we put a 0. So now we have the number 30. Okay? And you can also count out these 10s if that's easier. 10, 20, 30. Either way, you get the same answer. Now, if you have some cubes and so if your teacher is giving you the cubes that you can connect and make 10s, you can also use those. Or if you're in my classroom and you have the paper ones that I sent home, you can use those too. There are 10s towers and 1s cubes. And I can even show you guys what it would look like on here if you're using your cubes. Alright, now I did the same thing, but instead of a drawing, I am showing how you could use your cubes at home or in the classroom to how to solve these same two problems. Okay, so if you have these cubes that can connect, or if you have 1's cubes with you, well, our total, when we have n, just remember guys, I'm going to do a little bit of I'll call this a little math flashback. Remember, when we subtract, the first number is the total. This is our whole number. So we always draw that out first. Or we have that many cubes. So we have 4. And then minus 1. 1 is a part. So 4 minus 1. We're going to just draw a line through 1. We're going to get rid of it. And then we have 1, 2, 3 left. Okay. Now let's do the same thing with our other number sentence. 40 is our big total. So I make 40 using our 10s towers. And to do that, we need 4 10s. See how, don't forget, there's a 4 in the 10s place. It tells you how many 10s. So we have 4 10s towers. And then, this number tells us how many we take away. So if there's a 1 in the 10s place, we take away 1 10. So you take away 1 tower. And that's it. Then you have 3 left. So we have 3 10s. We don't have any 1s, so it's 0. And that's how you would solve it if you had your cubes. If you don't have the cubes, you can always use a drawing. Okay? Don't forget about that. Drawings are awesome. Quick pictures are the best. I love them. So now that we kind of know what we're doing here, let's go to the next page and try out some of those. Alright, make sure you're on the next page. Make sure you turned the page and you should see this little girl up top, and she is using some 1's cubes and some 10's towers to solve some math problems. And the page number we're on now is page 454. Okay, and I'm just going to repeat. I know it's been a little while since we've done some subtraction. We've been doing a lot of addition problems lately. But with a subtraction problem, remember that the total number is first, the big total. So you have to make sure you draw that many or have that many cubes to start. And then the next number is what you take away. Okay? Just a little refresher. That's all it was. Okay, so let's go into number 1. Let's do this together because they made the pictures for us this time. So let's go ahead and try it out. We're going to walk through number 1 together and see exactly what is going on. So what they want us to do in this top number sentence here, they want us to just write how many 10s. So since we need the total first when we subtract, we need to count them out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we have, in our first space is our total, so we have 7 10s. And now we need to figure out how many they took away. Well, we see a line going right through here. So how many towers were crossed out? Just 1. So we took away 1 10. Now, how many towers are left? And if it's easier, you can always number them at the top, like I did. Well, let's see how, if you didn't number them, you can of course just count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if you did number them, look, the biggest number now is number 6. So that's how many are left. 6. All right, and now they want us to rewrite this as their big numbers. So what big number does 7 tens make? Now if you remember my little trick, you bring the tens place down, right? The 7 goes in the tens place. Is there any ones with it? There is not, so we just put a 0 at the end. It's 70. Or you can always go back and count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Either way, it's fine. Okay, and same thing for the number 1. It's a 10, so it goes in the tens place. We don't have any ones, so we put a 0. So 110 is 10. And then the same thing for 6. 6 tens, so it goes in the tens place. And we do not have any ones, so we put a 0. And that's it. So now we know that 70 minus 10 is 60. So we can always subtract by just taking away the tens place. That's it. You can even see that right here. I know they wrote out the word tens, but you could also write it like this and then just focus on subtracting the tens place. 7 minus 1 is 6. That's it. That's all we're doing. Okay, now for number 2, you're going to try this on your own for the first part. Okay, you're just going to do the top number sentence on your own. What is the total and how many are we taking away? How many did they cross out? And then how many are left? Go ahead and just try this top number sentence. All right, if you're all done, we're going to continue. But if you're not done, that's okay. Just make sure you pause the video, hit the spacebar, and take your time. So, first thing we're going to do is count out every single tower. So I'm going to number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 tens. How many are they crossing out? Well, we're crossing out 1 and 2. So you can count them as you cross them out, just like I did. So they're taking away 2 tens. So 6 tens minus 2 tens, how many do we have left? Well, if you numbered them like I did, you see that the last number that we have, that's the biggest that was not crossed out, is 4. So we have 4 tens. So now we know that 6 tens minus 2 tens is 4 tens. Okay? Now what I want you to do, I want you to practice writing those numbers as their big numbers, okay? Not just the word tens. I want to know what big number 6 tens makes, and 2 tens, and 4 tens. So go ahead and fill in this next number sentence on your own. All right, so if you're not done, again, pause the video, okay? But if you're all done, let's keep going. Now, what big number does 6 tens make? Well, it makes 60. Remember, just bring down the 6, add a 0 at the end. 2 tens makes 20. And then 4 tens makes 40. All I did was bring that tens number down, and then add a 0 at the end. Bring the tens number down, put a 0 at the end. That's it. Let's do one more. We're going to do it all on your own. Let's go to the next page, 455. We're only going to do number 3. And that's it. Then we're going to go to our independent work afterwards. Here you're on the next page, 455. And we're just going to do number 3. I'm going to have you try this one completely on your own. Alright, so remember, in the first space here, is since we're subtracting, is always going to be our total. The second space is always what you're taking away, what you're crossing out. And then finally, in the last space, is our answer. So go ahead, I'll give you guys a few moments. Go ahead and try your best to solve this. And also, after you do the this top number sentence, make sure you rewrite it as their big numbers. Okay, if you are not done, pause the video, take your time, do not rush. But if you are done, let's just go over this really quick, okay? Really quick, because I have a feeling you guys are getting this really easy. Okay, so first let's number all of our towers. So we have, let me get a better color here. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So our total is 8 tens. And next, we need to find out how many they crossed out. So we can just cross them out, draw right over top of that line they put, and count as we do it. So 1, 2, 3. So we are taking away 3 tens. And how many are left? Well, since we numbered, we know that it's 5. So 8 tens minus 3 tens is 5 tens. And if we want to rewrite this as the big numbers, right? Because we're working with big numbers, not ones. So 8 tens is 80. 3 tens is 30. And 5 tens is 50. Just remember the little trick. It says this 8 is a 10. So you bring down the 8, put it in tens place, put a 0 at the end. Put the 3 in the tens place, put a 0 at the end. Same thing with the 5. 5 in the tens place, put a 0 at the end. That's a little trick. Alright, so if you're not in my classroom, make sure you let your teacher know that the video is all done and ask him or her what they would like you to do next for your classwork. If you're in my class, we are going to go to our Google Classroom page and check out our assignments. Alright, for our independent work, make sure we click on the man in the blue box, just like we always do. Then click on classwork, just like we always do. And then right there on the page, it might be at the very top, it might not. It will say 11-1, quick check. And right below that, there will always be 11-1 extra practice. Make sure you do the quick check first, and then try the extra practice. And if I see you guys working really hard and you get 100%, I will absolutely bump your name up on our chart. Alright, so I want to see everyone working extra hard on this. Alright, and that's it. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me, or you can sit back in on the lesson if I'm still teaching it to our other friends. But if not, I hope this is very helpful, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.